planet one. Race one, love one, people one. Too many things that's causing one to forget about the main cause.
Hello and welcome back to Evolutionary Entrepreneurs Day 2, where we are bringing you the most non-conventional business wisdom with the masters of self-growth in 2015 so that you can really make this year like the best year ever for your impact and your income and really skyrocket through any limits that you had on what you thought was possible this year. And yesterday, many of you joined us for really the man's day of the Evolutionary Entrepreneur Global Summit. We had Panache Desai, Neil Donald Walsh, and Brett Gregory yesterday. And today is really Women's Day. We're coming back here, bringing you Rikka Zimmerman, who you'll see to my side here. I'm so excited to have you here, Rikka. Woo! We're also going to bring in Jennifer McLean today from Healing with the Masters and Lynn Twist from the Pachamama Alliance. So we have a really rich, incredible feminine day planned for you with Evolutionary Entrepreneurs. And if you haven't already, please do click the chat thread below and introduce yourself over on the Facebook thread so that we can really get to know you and so that we can really take like a running note-taking guide together. Rikka's going to say some incredible things every time I sit in Rikka's presence. I have huge aha moments that really transform my life forever. And so when you hear something you like, type it into the Facebook page so we can all be keeping track together. And we'll really invite you to engage and interact today. We're going to be doing an exercise in a few minutes where we're going to really be asking you to seek into your place of the evolutionary entrepreneur impact that you want to make this year, so that you can also be meeting each other, networking with each other, and noticing like who lights up and who stands out, and even follow up with people on Facebook so that we can take this community and really move this community into a support tribe for this year, 2015. So with no further ado, I want to dive in and I want to welcome Rikka and introduce her properly to you. For those of you that don't know Rikka and aren't as familiar with her, she is really a global leader in consciousness. She's the creator of the Adventure in Oneness programs. And you know, she's not only an international speaker and a singer-songwriter, but she's actually just introduced a new album called Be the Change to the world. She's got these high vibe, energetically aligning tones on this album. I can't wait to check it out because for me, when I'm in Rikka's presence, literally something happens in my being that shifts. And I'll tell you more about that as we go. But, you know, she's propelled by an unbounded love for humanity, and Rikka travels all over the world working with thousands of people, leaders, entrepreneurs to create a vibration of joy and possibility and peace. Really, she brings oneness in everything that she does. She's absolutely a beacon of inspiration. And she does both live workshops, which I've had the absolute blessing to participate in, and online events. She's facilitating classes all over the world and has collaborated internationally with Reverend Michael Beckwith, Wayne Dyer, John Assaraf, Greg Braden, Neil Donald Walsh, Marcy Shimoff, many of the top names in the self-growth industry. She's on TV, she's on radio, she's everywhere. You can connect with her at adventuresinoneness.com, and we're going to be giving you a link to really check out an incredible free gift with her today. But Rikka, welcome. It is my absolute honor to be here with you.
Oh, thank you so much, Sage. Oh, and I can say the same thing about you every time I'm in your presence. Something amazing happens. So I'm excited to see what happens as our magical universes come together and bring forth what is meant to be brought forth for 2015 for each of you. So this is really exciting. Thank you so much for being here and for choosing more light, more love, and to be the stewards of this brand new world and this brand new possibility in this evolutionary entrepreneurship that you're now choosing. It's beautiful.
It really is just an incredible time, isn't it, Rikka? And one of the things we talked about yesterday is, and you and I chatted about this just for a few minutes before we hopped on the line here, but, you know, we're living in a time where anything is possible, like so much is possible. Like people are having these huge spiritual awakenings, and we can manifest oftentimes more than we ever thought possible, and yet we also are more in touch with, I think, like the global crises and the pain that's happening, the rainforest being demolished. You know, we're going to get to hear more about how to support the rainforest later today. Global warming, homelessness, hunger. There's all of these things that like we can feel because we're such empathic beings, and we have these contrasts between the challenges and the absolute possibility. And I'm wondering, like, what advice can you give our listeners about how to create an evolutionary business this year, you know, like holding both of those opposites?
Really good question. And I know each of us have been faced with this time and time and time and time and time and time and time again on this planet, as we watch, you know, animals being slaughtered or not treated correctly, as we watch, you know, different things like the rainforest and, you know, trees being taken out for, you know, oil being fracked. And I mean, it goes on forever, right? And us as beautiful, amazing beings have these hearts that are as big as this universe, right? And in our God states, we hold everything as God. So, you know, it's a fine line between taking that personally, right? Or actually being the change that changes it, right? And so when we engage in those kinds of quote-unquote disasters from a place of contraction, what if we're actually adding our energy to that? Right? So what if there was a different possibility? So as you're watching the news, instead of buying into it, giving your power to it, and feeling contractive about it, what if we all held this space for the new world to be born? And with that, the old world actually shifts out of existence, because the only reason why something is happening in our outer world is because the inner world that's going on here has some discrepancies in it, some places that haven't returned to love. So once we move through that tipping point and the end of separation happens, people won't have the ability to be abusive to the environment because they won't have the abuse within them. So as we end that for ourselves, for each one of us, it actually ends for the whole.
Beautifully said. I love the clarity with which you deliver that message. So can you take it one step further and even help us understand, like, you've been a brilliant beacon of getting your message into the world with, I'd say, a really non-traditional form. You show up as you. You're not necessarily plugging your words into a copywriting template where it's like, are you struggling with X, Y, and Z? Now you can have rainbow butterfly, insert happy thing here. You know, it's like you just bring so much of who you really are into the world. And like, what advice would you give to our listeners that are really wanting to market from that place of authenticity?
I would say that what if authenticity was energetic? Right? And what if everyone is actually coming to you for the energy that you are? Not for the belief system you're pitching, or for, you know, if you're doing that, not for a certain formula or a certain, you know, way, or what if they're actually coming for you? And they're actually coming for the real you. Not the one you maybe put out in the world as a mask, but the real God being that's actually behind you, every word you say, everything that you do. So the more and more and more you let that shine, that God being, and you let that come out, and you let all of the other information go, so that that can be your new state of being. Everyone everyone on this entire planet, in their own system, wants to return to the God that they are. So as you're being that, you're going to automatically be the beacon of light for everyone to come to, because they all want to end judgment. They just don't know it. They all want to return to love, and they may not know it. They may be coming to you as a, you know, money or business facilitator, right, to fix their business, but they're really coming to return to love. So the more and more and more you return yourself to you, you'll actually, in essence, hand over that vibrational gift to them just by being with them.
So beautifully said. It's really beautifully said, right? Because I can tell you from my experience, the emails that I write when I'm just taking care of myself and I'm in alignment, and it's like, this is exactly what I want to say to my people, those are the emails that get dozens of responses and the highest conversion rate. And I notice when I'm out in alignment and I'm just trying to like communicate from a place of like, I have to get an email out this week, or, you know, this is what I should be saying, it's just like, it doesn't go over as well. Can you say more about like how do we actually find that that part of ourselves to communicate from as we're evolving, because as we're evolving, right, like sometimes shit hits the fan, like it's hard sometimes.
Yeah, and those are sort of the vibrational bumps of the fear leaving, right? So we can invite those and receive them with total joy, realizing that they're being harmonized and erased as we're experiencing them. So it's not a bad thing. It's an awesome thing. It means you're getting closer and closer and closer and closer to actually returning to one. So instead of having part of you on the polarity side of good and right and the other part on the polarity side of wrong and bad, you're actually moving into a fully evolved human.
Right.
And, right? So you get to, go ahead.
And that edge, like you're talking about, like that edge between the two is almost where I can feel the energy is.
Absolutely, right? Absolutely. That's where your God state is, and that's where the all true power is. All true power is in love, is in the holding infinite possibilities for the planet, is in allowing and gracing everyone with their path without trying to change it. It's in, and all of this stems from the way that you are with yourself. Because when you're that way with yourself, you automatically hold it for everybody else.
It's gorgeous. It's so beautiful, right? Because this topic of evolutionary business, it's like we are evolving into the entrepreneurs that we're becoming, and there's a way that when we can treat ourselves as the way that we most want to be treated in the lovingness, like if like I ask myself sometimes, like, what would Sage, the multi-million-dollar, Oprah show, guest, what would she decide? Like when I'm trying to make a decision, when I'm struggling, it's like, well, what would my future self decide? Like the future self that I know I'm becoming, like, what would she decide right now? And treat myself that way. Like, would I say no more often? Would I take myself for a massage more often? Just coming from that place. And so I'm curious for you, Rikka, like every time I'm in your presence, you seem so clear in this knowingness that we're all just returning to God. And so have you had challenges and bumpiness along your path? And like, how have you overcome that?
I would say that there's not a soul on the planet that hasn't been through everything that everyone's been through. So good news, you're not alone, right? And good news, wherever you are is absolutely perfect. So yes, if I had challenges, absolutely. It's like I thought I was totally wrong and bad. I actually thought I was evil and a bad seed. I would barrier up to contributing to anyone because I thought my contribution was a burden, because that's sort of what I was taught. So then I tried to do everything by myself and work my tail end off just trying to build the kingdom myself, all by myself, because I didn't want to pollute everybody else, and I didn't feel safe enough to actually receive from anyone. So it's like I've been through the gamut of, feeling like I used to believe every man in the world would leave me and every woman would hate me. So that doesn't leave me very much room in between. Right. So my father passed away when I was 11, so that hurt was something that was just so deep. I had closed myself off to the other possibilities at that point. So have I been through absolutely everything? Oh yeah. And would I do it all again? Absolutely. No problem. Right? Because as we allow ourselves to evolve and open and finally open our hearts again, and finally open our spirits and our beings to the magic that's possible for us, for always interacting with that magic and being present for that magic and beginning to live life from that magic. Since we've experienced such darkness and now we're in a place of so much light, it just makes the light that much greater. You're even more grateful for every step you take in light because of the steps you've also taken within the contraction or the quote-unquote darkness. So we're expanding our beings, right? We're expanding the presence of God within us to include every layer of reality so that we can be the biggest beacons of this vibration of love and joy and harmony that we truly are. So it's all perfect.
Beautiful, beautiful. And so the important distinction I feel like you're making here is that like the anxiety, the overwhelm, the frustration, it can actually be interpreted as fear and old ways of being leaving the body.
Absolutely.
Can you say a little bit more about that? Because that's big. Like, that's a big shift, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So your mind is basically, anytime your mind is operating, like if you're trying to figure stuff out or understand or trying to, figure out the worst case scenarios and then the best, all of that, it's based on fear. Your mind was never meant to operate you. It was supposed to be operated by your heart. Right? So when our minds are going off, it's because there's something within our hearts that actually needs attention. And for the most part, I've found that it's just you asking for love, right? It's that deep, you're getting deeper and deeper into those parts of you that are more delicate, more vulnerable, and more open. And as you grow in that, right, you're going to require more and more love, more and more you being there for you, more and more you making that commitment to really stand for what you believe in this world, that you're here, going to be here for yourself. You're never going to leave you. You will always love you, right? So as you got deeper and deeper and deeper and more vulnerable, the love quotient that's required is greater and greater and greater, right? So, and as you give yourself that love, you'll find that the fear dissipates, and also the mind ceases to be the one that runs the show. You become more interested in passion and love than you are in fear and separation. You begin to not even notice that there might be a worst case scenario because you're so supported, there is no worst case scenario. Everything is here for you. You are being divinely guided, and in essence, you walk that divine path. And it's always been each of your choice of when you actually awaken to that path. And so much of it has to do with the willingness to open up and let go, right? Willingness to really allow yourself the vulnerability of opening up your heart, opening up your spirit, opening up your system, and letting go of the old stuff, right? Because the heart itself is saying, oh my God, I don't know if I can go through that again. As you open, that's what it's saying. Can I go through this? Because what's going on is you've got the layer of pain or suffering around the heart. And as you're opening, it's like going through that layer of pain and suffering. Can I? And as you bring in the divine love, you go, you know what? I can be here for you. We can trust each other again. I got your back. And then the heart opens and goes, oh, I'm safe here, right? And when you have that connection between your humanity and your divinity, where your divinity is fully moving throughout your humanity, then your heart gets to run your mind instead of your mind trying to run the show all the time.
I can so feel that, and I honestly, I get like choked up as I hear you saying it, because I just feel how much the mind wants to be in steward of our hearts as we're growing these businesses, and how that's really what people want from us. And Rikka, you have done an extraordinary job of putting yourself out into the world without, with no apology for some of the radical standpoints that you take, and one of the things that I teach my clients is, how to really clarify their message. And there's always so many questions around, like, do I have to fit into one of the typical 3 niches of find your soulmate, achieve optimum health, or make more money, and it's like, no, you don't have to. And what I've seen you do is break all the mold of what traditional business says you have to do, just by doing what you're saying, which is being you and totally showing up for yourself as yourself each moment of the journey. It's just been incredible to watch you. And I hope that those of you who feel like you have a non-traditional message for the world, a more spiritual message, a message that can't as easily be put in a box, are taking notes right now, because Rikka is demonstrating something for us that's important to see. And one of the reasons it works is because she's authentic, she's aligned, and Rikka, you're consistent. You're not off saying something else one day and another thing another day. You're not promising that you can change everybody's life in 100 different areas all at once. You return to a very core message so eloquently and so beautifully, this message of oneness, of consciousness, and of really showing up for yourself. And that's where the magic is.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And it's funny because in the beginning I thought, oh my God, how am I going to be received, right? Because I'm the bringer of new worlds. Like, so, there's no place where anybody can meet me, ever. What am I going to do there, right? How am I going to market that to a world that is used to a marketing message that is not exactly that? Oh, yet, what's amazing is people are ready for it. They are here to receive it. They're actually sort of, going, all right, we've done all the other stuff. Let's move into the new, the brand new, the stuff we haven't opened up before. So I think people actually keep coming back to me because I never stop opening new worlds and new universes. And so they never hear the same thing twice. They're always getting their minds blown and their bodies opened and their vibrations open to a whole new frequency because that's what I'm here to do. So they're coming on the ride going, wow, this is so cool. So I would say bring it. Bring
Absolutely.
all your heart, your soul, your being, your awareness, and go 1,000% further than you ever thought was possible. And you'll find we haven't even scratched the surface to how magnificent the God that we are is.
It's so great. And I also want to really point out something that you're doing so beautifully right now, and you do beautifully in your marketing, and that's that you're very metaphysical, you're very otherworldly, and you're grounded in this reality. You are in your body, and I have metaphysical marketers come to me all the time and ask me, why isn't my marketing working? And the answer, I so often believe, is that they're out there with all the woo-woo words, but they're not bringing it back to, like, this is what we need to do in our real life. And I notice you dance so beautifully between the two. It's like you can really bring it back to, like, here's what's going on when your mind won't stop running.
Yeah.
And here's how to shift that. That's a very practical tool, a practical tip that a 12-year-old could relate to.
Yes.
Right? And I see the metaphysical entrepreneurs of 2015 so often get hung up there. And so I just really want to point that out for those of you that are like, how is she doing this? How has she built such a successful business, reaching thousands of people, making so much money, right? You said something to me at one of your workshops that absolutely blew my reality for months. And I still remember it, and I still work with it. And I don't know if you'll remember this, but you said, anytime you make yourself wrong for anything at all, you're not going to be able to perceive the thing that you need to perceive.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to thank you for that in front of everybody, because so much of the New Thought movement and the self-growth movement makes us wrong. It makes us sometimes be hard on ourselves. And so can you say just a little bit more about how you recommend your clients find that place of always showing up for themselves, so that, these entrepreneurs that are listening right now and accessing the replays can find that for themselves? Because building a business, it's a topsy-turvy endeavor, right? You and I both know it's like we're going to be faced with challenges as we do this. How can we really show up for ourselves?
Showing up for yourself is the most important thing that you could ever do in every moment of every day. And the reason is that your interior world will be reflected out to your exterior world. Unless you clean up your interior world, you're always going to have stuff like that around you. So if you're making yourself wrong or right, if you're, believing those judgments about yourself, which, by the way, are they actually even yours, or was that everybody else's projection of you? Right? Behind all of that are the gifts and the talents that you actually came here to bring. It's like this huge, amazing universe of magic right behind everyone that everyone said, that's too different, that's wrong, right? So right behind that is you. And as you allow yourself to stand up for who you really are and not believe in those judgments, not have anything to do with those judgments, but just show up as the authenticity of who you really are as a being, you give everybody else permission to do the same thing too, right? Which allows them to let go of those layers of judgment. So judgment does a lot of things. It cuts off your awareness, right? You also, like Sage said, you can't be aware of anything other than that judgment. So if you think, say you're a burden and not a gift, or that you're ugly, right? Somebody came up to you and they said, you know, God, you look beautiful today. You'd automatically not receive it. So it creates this barrier where you can't receive the resolution based on the actual judgment of itself, right? So, but the bigger picture is that you wouldn't actually be interacting or experiencing those judgments unless you had them within you, right? So as you let go of the old and the past and where mom and dad didn't show up and where you know, all these different people haven't shown up for you, let go of the hurt and the pain and the fear, you won't actually resonate with judgment any longer. And what happens is that people can't hold judgments against you either. It's really interesting. But, you know, how many of you guys have been like, oh, somebody judged me and it really hurt my feelings and this is terrible and I can't believe they said this. Well, the only reason why you're experiencing that is because you have the same judgment of yourself. When you let go of that judgment of yourself, they no longer have the capacity. Now, they might try to, but if you stand in that truth for, you know, a few days or a few hours, or if you're in their presence for long enough, they'll awaken to, oh my God, this is my stuff. And they'll start letting it go. So you get to be the way shower as you stand in that energy of zero judgment, in that between the worlds of polarity, staying strong in your field of infinite possibilities and love.
Yeah, it is so true what you're saying. I mean, I remember I used to have totally different stuff come up when I first launched some of my programs in my business than I do now. Like, it's like I worked through them, I owned my own judgments around them, and now new stuff comes up. You know what I mean? But it really shows me what's in my universe, what my clients are saying to me, or what people might be projecting onto me, or, you know, complaining emails that we sometimes have gotten in our inbox. It's like, oh, that's what's going on with me. And then I work with it within myself, and then it totally goes away, you know, and then something new shows up. But it's just like, it's really true. Like, that's really how it works. Like, it's all just a big mirror.
Yeah, absolutely. And you'll know because somebody will say something and you won't have any charge on it. You won't have a resistance to it, and you won't have anything. You'll just be like, oh, they're just telling me about themselves. There's absolutely nothing there. You know, there's a lot of people that go, when they meet me, they go, oh my God, I hated her when I met her. She was too joyful. And then they hang around me for a while and then like, oh my God, I love you now, right? And now so I realized that everybody's stuff has nothing to do with me, just like everybody's stuff with you, absolutely nothing to do with you.
It's amazing. And that's the piece, though, is that we have to realize everything happening in our world is happening in here. And when we clean it up in here, then we see a different world. And it's so amazing to get to see that.
Yeah, and it's time for us to be the ones that get to create us, instead of being created by the world around you, by other people's ideas, by the past, right? All of that, it's like, you know, the last moment. It's so long ago.
Yes, that is a Facebook quotable. Somebody write that down on Facebook, right? It's time for us to be the ones creating us. Yes. It's time for that. And as we do that, we become magnetic to our clients. You know, we don't have to worry as much about marketing, because I know, and I watch my clients go through this, when we are really being who we are in full permission, clients show up. I mean, they kind of knock on your door. They're like, kind of like, what's going on with you? Like, what happy pill are you taking? You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And when they do, that's when you say, I'd love to offer you a breakthrough session. Let's talk, right? And you welcome them in. And, you know,
I feel like there's just one piece that would be really great to bring forward for all of you guys out there creating businesses and lives and everything. So, okay. So the energetics of what you're creating. How many of you guys like look into the future of 2015 and you start looking at, well, I want to have this much money and I want to have this car and I want to do this thing and I want to, right? If you feel the energies of those, all of that is sort of in the realm of definition. It's in the realm of contraction, actually. It's in the realm of roping you more into reality instead of into the pure being that you are. So what if you could let go of all that and allow yourself to embody a field of wondering about the infinite possibilities as your core state of being? Because as you wonder and allow that, oh wow, the infinite possibilities, no matter what you're creating in the future, you hold it all as the infinite magical possibilities, the infinite. As you do that, what happens is everything around you automatically raises to the highest order that's possible. So you no longer have to think about what's the perfect projection to get me to where I want to go. You get to be the wonderment of infinite possibilities, which means everything around you aligns to something more magical than you could have ever imagined.
I think that's the answer to so many entrepreneurial questions that I oftentimes get, which is like, what if I don't want to set a goal? Like, what if my body automatically resists goals? You know, it's like, then don't set a goal. I mean, it's like, I'm always like, you know, let's be in the question, not the conclusion, right? And what you're saying, I think really answers that question for people, is like, sometimes trying to define it actually limits it.
Always limits it.
Always. Thank you.
Let's just tell it like it is. It always
Thank you.
Because this is a field, this universe is a field of infinite possibilities. Its job is to bring you more magic, more light, and more joy than you ever thought was possible, right? So its job is to open you up to that, and it wants to be received as a gift. So when we do expectation and definition, that energy is actually the repellent of what we actually want to bring in. So if you have a conclusionary world about this is exactly how my future is going to be, and it's going to be X, Y, and Z, and, right? And you've got all this contraction in it, that's actually the repellent to that future actually showing up. Right. It's really, really important. Now, does that mean you can't plan a future? No, absolutely. It's like we've got classes and all kinds of stuff planned for 2015 and beyond, yet we're holding a space of infinite possibility around the whole thing. So it's this in infinite possibility. It's this, and so it grows in every moment. It gets bigger in every moment. It evolves into something greater in every moment. We're open for this big, beautiful, God-centered universe to bring us something that we ever imagined was ever possible in every moment. Even when we're to the point of signing a contract for that being the future, we're still holding infinite possibilities. So the thing is, your energy doesn't have to follow reality. Your energy is the creator and the birth of new realities.
It just makes me take this big breath. It's like my body just sings to hear you. And I want to get you sharing a little bit about your perspective on how this can affect our ability to make money in 2015. And I know you have a gift for us, but before we do that, would you be willing to walk us through some sort of a short energy shifting exercise? Your brilliance shines through when you do this, and I know it would support everyone here.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's play. Let's play. We'll do this like quick little woo, and you'll be like, whoa, I feel great. Okay, so go ahead and expand your bodies like a pipe, allowing the inside of your body just to be really spacious. Maybe take a deep breath, a nice cleansing breath, and allow some space to flow through the center of your body, allowing yourself to release and let go, and move your chakras to the back of your spine. There you go, allowing all the contents of the vessel just to fall away with a nice cleansing breath, chakras at the back of the spine, and letting, there we go, all that information just begin dropping out. Okay, and now go ahead and expand your energy field out as big as this universe, way up into the sky, deep down into the earth, allowing the earth, your feet to be in the center of the earth. There you go, and your head all the way to be way upstairs in this big, beautiful, heavenly universe. So bring your awareness up. We're going to move you a little higher up in the vibrational field here, into the field of abundance, and the field of flow, and the field of infinite oneness and love that you are. So bring your awareness up to the highest vibration that you can find. And allow yourself to feel that future life of being so one with God that you're actually a conduit of the greatest possibility that's possible in every moment. You're the opener of new worlds and new possibilities. You're the vessel of everything that everybody is actually truly looking for by holding this field, by opening more and more and more, and allowing yourself to be an ever-expanding vessel of God. There we go, and let's ask God and the angels for just a huge download of this vibration and information as you're bringing your awareness up into all this energy. Beautiful, feeling all that, feeling that future. Knowing the more you receive, the more the world receives. The more you channel, the more everyone receives around you. The more abundance you receive, the more everyone receives. There you go, taking a deep breath, breathing all that energy in. Letting it come through your body, letting it move all the way through your system, all the way through, just keeping open, moving it through your fingers and your toes, and opening yourself up to actually be that vessel, and opening and opening and opening and opening and opening. Good, beautiful, beautiful. Let's just take one more deep breath, bringing your awareness up in this high vibrational space, being this conduit of this new world and this new future, being the one that births this new world, this new way of being. New way of being, this new evolutionary leadership. There we go. Feel that. There we go. Where you're meant to be. Go ahead and take a deep breath, breathing that in, letting that come through your body. Letting it just move all the way down your chakras, feeling that energy, feeling that glow, feeling that light flowing all the way through you. And let me just do it like a 15-second toning here. Awesome. How's that feeling?
It felt so beautiful. Like I literally, with the toning, I can literally feel negative energy leaving my body, like stress. I literally just sort of feel it falling away.
Yes, yes. It's actually been scientifically proven too, which is kind of neat.
I'm not surprised. I want to know from those of you on the Facebook page, on the link here, the chat link. Let us know how you're feeling. Let us know what download you got from the angels. Let us know what's going on, and we'll keep an eye on it. I'm so grateful just for the clearing and for the lifting of vibrations. And what really worked for me, Rikka, was like, in order for me to go that high, I could really feel my feet connected to the center of the earth, like you said. And it was like I really needed that grounding to be able to reach that high vibration.
Yeah, and it allows it to be easy on your body. So your body feels at home. It's like, oh, I'm in the center of Mother Earth. My feet are in the center of Mother Earth. And then you, as the interdimensional being you are, can go fly across the universe. And your body's like, I'm cool.
You know, and it's out there. It's out there that I get the biggest downloads for my business. I was literally singing on a surfboard when I thought about and got the idea to do this Evolutionary Entrepreneurs Video Summit. So, you know, it's like, it's those higher frequencies that give us access to the ideas, right? And then we use the strategy and the planning to execute. But, you know, the more time we can be in those higher frequencies, I feel like, don't you, Rikka, like the more we're going to have the biggest impact possible this year.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think one of the biggest things to realize is that, you know, you might have been trained that in business or in marketing or in, you know, all the business money aspects, that you need to go down to reality to function or to do it like they do. But the way that the world has done it, as you can tell, it's not, I'm not going to say it hasn't worked, but it's not in the highest order, right? So it's time for us as beings to hold the highest order and to not have to go down to levels of contraction in order to do business, money, finance, or marketing. It's time for us to hold these higher vibrations and bring everybody else up to a new way of doing it, a new way of being with it, all from this essence of love, all from the essence of, you know, it's a multiple contribution. Everything that's a true contribution in God is a contribution to everything and everyone. So it's time for our businesses to be ran based on that energy and nothing else.
Yeah. Beautifully said, so articulate. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so committed to continuing to get you guys the high vibration beingness with the business strategy so that they don't have to be separate, so that you can stay plugged in and connected as you're considering, you know, what strategic move to make next. And it's one of the reasons why you got some great strategy yesterday with Stephen Dinan. You're going to get some great strategy. Oh, and with Brett Gregory, you're going to get some great strategy today with Jennifer McLean and with Lynn. And we want to keep you in this vibration so that you really, truly are coming from this place of knowing which of all these millions of different paths you can take is the one for you, and what's in the highest alignment, and what's the one that's going to allow you to really be and get your message out and to do it your way and to make money your way. And when you do it your way, there's like a way that you open to receiving that Rikka is such an incredible model of. And the abundance work that you've brought, Rikka, and that has impacted my life. I mean, we're $1 million company this year. Last year we hit $1 million, and I will tell you that it was some of your abundance work that I was listening to periodically throughout some of the strategy I was learning, so that I could really return to that place of like receiving so deeply from the feminine that you model. And I know that you're offering our listeners a gift when they donate to the rainforest. And you guys are going to hear about how to get this gift in about an hour on Lynn Twist's interview. And it's an abundance activation. When you guys hop in and donate to the rainforest, it's just going to be a $25 donation. You're going to get a chance to get all these free gifts from all the speakers with the grab bag. And so, Rikka, can you tell us a little bit more about the abundance activation?
It is awesome.
It is awesome.
Yeah, it's 3 hours of just super high vibrational activation. And it's really bringing you up into that field of energy where you are already abundant. And abundance is already flowing. And you're already connected with that divine, incredible, successful, abundance flowing future that is naturally yours, that you're meant to return to, that you're already on your way to returning to. It's just, we need to bring in that high vibration, so that way because whatever you're being basically gets reflected into the world. So we're going to activate that abundance, bring you into a whole nother universe. I mean, there was a testimonial from that. There was a man who his sales increased 3 times the amount once he had done this activation, because you're holding the highest possible order. Everywhere you go, magic appears in front of you. People around you will only be able to project the highest, most amazing thing they could ever imagine about you when you hold this abundance and activate this infinite abundant energy. So it's going to be fun to watch how your life changes after you activate that energy in you and watch the magic happen around you.
Thank you so much. And I'm seeing so many Facebook comments here of just a lot of expansion, some really incredible downloads. We have a couple of hot workshop ideas coming through the Facebook thread, just of people who were lifted up into the vibration you just took us into, especially with your toning. Thank you so much for opening that space. And I couldn't agree more. When we activate that abundance vibration, and Rikka, you're such a portal of this, it just all gets easier, you know? I personally recommend that you guys listen to some of this abundance activation that Rikka's offering. Like before you do a sample session or a discovery session with a potential client, before you go lead a workshop, because it's really going to get you in that energy of receiving and being so in touch with who you are and uncompromising and unapologetic of your unique gifts and talents. And people can feel that when you're really in that receptive state of grace that Rikka's just such an incredible portal of. Rikka, thank you so much for being here today. And there's a couple other Facebook comments. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I talked to Stephen Dinan yesterday because we're planning for our session tomorrow, but you guys are right. Stephen, you're not going to get to hear Stephen until tomorrow. He's live tomorrow. Just because I talked to him yesterday doesn't mean that you got to hear from him. So yes, Stephen is live tomorrow. Today, we are on our way to hearing from Jennifer McLean and Lynn Twist. Rikka, is there any last advice or love you want to offer our incredible evolutionary leaders who are here with us that we love so much for being alongside us?
If you knew the life that was in store for you, by letting go of everything that no longer served you, you wouldn't wait not even a second to let go. Not even a nanosecond. You would allow yourself just to fly. So what if you have what you need to actually do that? And let me ask you right now, do you actually have what you need to fully let go, embody, and fly into that most magnificent life that's even better than anything you could have ever imagined? Is it time to allow yourself to let go of the chains of having to hold on and allow yourself to be supported by this God universe that you naturally are? This universe was made for you to explore. It was made for you to adventure. It was made for you to play with. So would you allow yourself to have the full version of play and joy and magnificence that's actually divinely in store for you when you finally let go and give into love? Would that be a yes, Sage?
That would be a capital YES over here.
Yes!
And I'm seeing yes all over the Facebook. Oh, it is just such an honor. It is so beautiful to get to start day 2 out with you and really bask in this feminine energy of yes with you, Rikka. Thank you from my heart for being on this planet and for everything that you've gone through, really, to turn you into the magical, fairy-like guru that you are today, and for invoking the guru inside every single one of us. I love you so much. I'm so honored to be on this journey with you. Thank you for being on Evolutionary Entrepreneurs, and thank you every single one of you for joining us today. It's going to be an incredibly rich, feminine, evolutionary entrepreneurial journey. I can't wait to be back with you. Jennifer McLean in just a couple minutes, Lynn Twist after that. So we're going to take a short little break and we'll be back with you. Goodbye, everyone. Bye, Rikka.
I love you.
Mwah. Love you all.